Love in the Time of Cholera is a famous novel by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a Colombian writer. It was first published in 1985. The story is about love, time, and destiny. It shows how love can change over time but also stay strong in the hearts of people. The novel takes place in a small town near the Caribbean Sea. The time is from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. In this town, there is an outbreak of cholera, a deadly disease. But in the story, cholera is more than a sickness. It is also a symbol of strong emotions, like love, that can take over people's lives. Marquez writes in a poetic way, using simple details to show the beauty and pain of love. The novel follows the lives of two main characters over 50 years. It is about how love grows, fades, and returns again. This story teaches us that love, like life, is full of surprises. Now, let us step into the world of love in the time of cholera and follow the journey of love between Fermina Daza and Florentino Ariza. Their story begins with a chance meeting that changes their lives forever. Fermina Daza was a beautiful young girl, full of life and curiosity. Florentino Ariza was a shy and dreamy young man who worked at a telegraph office. One day, Florentino saw Fermina for the first time while she was walking in the market with her aunt. For him, it was love at first sight. Florentino started sending Fermina secret love letters, written in beautiful, poetic language. At first, Fermina was unsure about this strange boy, but over time, his words touched her heart. They began exchanging letters in secret, and their love grew stronger. However, their love story was not easy. Fermina's father, Lorenzo Daza, found out about their secret romance. He was angry because he believed Florentino was not good enough for his daughter. Florentino was poor and had no social status, while Lorenzo wanted Fermina to marry a rich and respected man. To separate the young lovers, Lorenzo took Fermina away to visit her relatives in another town. He thought that distance would make Fermina forget Florentino. For a while, Fermina held on to their love, keeping his letters close to her heart. But time and distance began to change her feelings. After being separated from Florentino, Fermina Daza's life took a new direction. Her love for Florentino faded, and when she returned home, she saw him differently. One day she told him that their love was just an illusion, like a dream that disappeared. This decision changed everything. Not long after, Fermina met Dr. Juvenal Urbino, a wealthy and respected doctor in the town. Dr. Urbino was intelligent, confident, and practical. He was also from an important family, which made him the kind of man Fermina's father wanted for her. Dr. Urbino was different from Florentino in every way. While Florentino was emotional and poetic, Urbino was logical and focused on order. He believed in science and progress, and he was admired by many people. After much persuasion, Fermina agreed to marry him. Their wedding was grand and celebrated by the whole town. At first, Fermina and Dr. Urbino's marriage was peaceful, but not filled with passion. They lived in a large, elegant house, and Fermina adjusted to her new life as a respected woman in society. Dr. Urbino cared for Fermina in his own way, often showing his love through small, practical acts. But their marriage was not perfect. Over the years, they faced many challenges. Dr. Urbino was strict and sometimes controlling, while Fermina had her own strong will. They argued about small things, like how to arrange furniture or what to eat for dinner. At one point, Fermina even left him for a while and stayed with her cousin. Still, they learned to forgive each other and move forward. They grew older together, sharing the ups and downs of life. Their marriage became a partnership built on understanding and compromise rather than wild romance. Through their years together, Fermina and Dr. Urbino's relationship became a reflection of a different kind of love, steady, practical, and built on time and effort. However, deep in Fermina's heart, the memory of her first love, Florentino, never truly disappeared. While Fermina was building her new life with Dr. Urbino, Florentino Ariza began his long journey of waiting. For over 50 years, he held on to the hope that one day Fermina would return to him. His love for her became the center of his existence, and he vowed to remain faithful, even as life pulled him in different directions. Florentino refused to give up on Fermina, even after her rejection and marriage. He believed that true love required patience no matter how long it took. He said to himself, "I will wait until the end of my life if I must." But waiting was not easy. Florentino had to endure the pain of watching Fermina from afar, knowing she was living a life he could not be part of. He saw her at public events, on the streets, or through letters and news from others. Each time, his heart ached, but his determination grew stronger. During these years, Florentino experienced both love and loneliness. He had relationships with other women, over 600 as the novel suggests, but none of them could fill the emptiness in his heart. These women were drawn to his poetic charm and his quiet, mysterious nature, but he never allowed himself to fall deeply in love with anyone else. Some relationships were short and meaningless, while others lasted longer, bringing temporary comfort. However, in his mind, Fermina remained the only one who truly mattered. Florentino believed that his other affairs were just distractions, and his real purpose was to keep waiting for her. Florentino never stopped writing letters. Though Fermina stopped responding after her marriage, he continued to write, expressing his thoughts and feelings through words. He poured his soul into each letter, hoping that someday she would read them and remember the love they once shared. To stay close to her, he worked hard to improve his status. Florentino joined the River Company of the Caribbean, a business that managed river transportation. Over the years, he climbed the ranks, eventually becoming its president. He believed that building a respectable life would make him worthy of Fermina when the time came. Florentino also found comfort in his dreams of the future. He imagined the day when Fermina would be free and they could finally be together. He pictured her smile, her voice, and the life they would share. This dream gave him strength during the hardest times, keeping his love alive despite the decades of waiting. Florentino's patience and loyalty became the defining features of his character. His love for Fermina was not perfect. It was obsessive and sometimes selfish, but it was also pure and unwavering. His long wait was a testament to the power of hope and the belief that love, no matter how delayed, could endure through time. Time continued its steady march, and both Fermina and Florentino grew older. After decades of marriage, Fermina's life took a sudden turn when Dr. Juvenal Urbino passed away, leaving her alone for the first time in many years. His death marked the end of one chapter in Fermina's life, and the beginning of another. Dr. Urbino's death was both unexpected and tragic. One afternoon, while trying to catch his pet parrot that had escaped into a tree, he fell from a ladder and suffered a fatal injury. His passing was a great loss to the community, as he had been a respected figure for decades. For Fermina, it was the loss of her life partner and the man she had shared her home, her family, and her everyday routines with. As Fermina grieved, she reflected on their long marriage, the joys, the struggles, and the quiet understanding they had built over time. Although their love was not always passionate, it was a steady and enduring bond, and his absence left a deep emptiness in her life. Dr. Urbino's death also opened a door that Florentino had been waiting for his entire life. On the very day of the funeral, Florentino approached Fermina. He waited until the guests had left, then went to her house and expressed his feelings directly. "I have waited for this moment for over 50 years," he said, "and now I declare once again my eternal love for you." Fermina was shocked and angry at first. She thought his timing was inappropriate, considering she had just buried her husband. But Florentino's words planted a seed in her mind, even if she did not realize it at the time. Over the following months, Florentino began writing letters to Fermina once again. This time, they were not the passionate, youthful letters of the past. Instead, they were thoughtful and gentle, filled with wisdom and understanding. Slowly, Fermina started to respond. Their love story began again, but now it was different. They were no longer young and full of dreams. Instead, they were two people with long lives behind them, carrying memories of joy, pain, and loss. Their love in old age was calm and steady, like a river flowing slowly to the sea. When Fermina finally agreed to meet Florentino, their interaction was tender and a bit awkward at first. They were two people who had grown into different versions of themselves, shaped by time and life. Florentino spoke of his unwavering love and shared the memories he had held on to for so many years. Fermina, in turn, spoke of her doubts, her grief, and her new understanding of love. They spent more time together, talking about their lives and rediscovering each other. As the days passed, Fermina began to see Florentino not as the dreamy young man she once knew, but as a loyal and persistent soul who had waited a lifetime for her. Their relationship was not built on passion or urgency, but on companionship, trust, and the shared hope of finding happiness, even in their later years. This new love was quieter, but it was also deeper and more enduring, a testament to the idea that love can bloom at any stage of life. Fermina and Florentino's story reaches its most profound and symbolic moment as they decide to embark on a journey together. Their reunion is not the end of their love story, but rather the beginning of a new chapter, proving that love can endure beyond time, age, and loss. After reconnecting and spending time together, Fermina and Florentino decided to leave their familiar town and take a journey on a riverboat. This trip was not just a physical voyage, but also a symbolic one, a journey into the unknown, representing their shared future and the fluid nature of life. The boat traveled along the Great Magdalena River, winding through lush landscapes and passing small villages. As they moved forward, Fermina and Florentino let go of their pasts and embraced the present. They talked for hours, shared their memories, and found comfort in each other's presence. This journey allowed them to rediscover the beauty of life and love, even in its later stages. It became a metaphor for the passage of time, where each bend in the river symbolized a new opportunity, a new experience, or a new understanding of what love truly means. Toward the end of their journey, the boat's captain informed them that the passengers on board were afraid of cholera, and they would need to turn back. To prevent this, Florentino made a bold decision. He suggested raising a yellow flag, the universal symbol for cholera, so that the boat would not be stopped or approached by others. This choice turned the boat into a floating sanctuary for Fermina and Florentino, a place where time seemed to stand still, and they could be together without the interference of the outside world. As they sailed on, Florentino declared, "Let's keep going. We'll never return." Their decision to continue the journey, despite the obstacles, became a symbol of their undying love. For them, the river no longer represented a destination, but an infinite flow of life and love. In the final scene, Fermina asks Florentino how long he thinks they can keep sailing like this. With a quiet confidence, he replies, "Forever." This moment captures the essence of their love, timeless, enduring, and unbroken by the limitations of age or the inevitability of death. It is a love that has survived rejection, distance, and decades of waiting. It is a love that proves life's greatest treasures can come when we least expect them. Through their story, Gabriel Garcia Marquez reminds us of the many forms love can take. It can be passionate, patient, painful, and peaceful. But most importantly, love has the power to outlast everything, including time itself. As the boat continues its endless journey down the river, we are left with a profound message. Love, in all its imperfections and complexities, is eternal. Love in the Time of Cholera is a story that explores the many faces of love. It is about the passionate love of youth, the practical love of marriage, and the enduring love that stands the test of time. Through the lives of Fermina and Florentino, Gabriel Garcia Marquez shows us that love is not perfect. It can be messy, painful, and even obsessive. Yet, it is also beautiful, transformative, and eternal. The novel reminds us that love changes as we grow older. In youth, it can be impulsive and romantic. In marriage, it can be steady and built on compromise. And in old age, it can bring peace and companionship. Each stage of love has its own meaning and value, and together, they form a rich tapestry of human experience. Marquez also teaches us that love requires patience and resilience. Florentino's 50 years of waiting may seem extreme, but it symbolizes the idea that true love does not give up. Even when faced with rejection, separation, or time, love can endure if it is strong enough. As readers, we are encouraged to appreciate love in all its forms and to understand that it is not always about perfection or fairy tale endings. Sometimes love is about persistence, forgiveness, and finding joy in the simplest moments of connection. In the end, Love in the Time of Cholera is not just a story about romance. It is a celebration of the human heart and its incredible capacity to love, no matter the obstacles. It reminds us that love, like life, is a journey. And on this journey, every bend in the river brings something new and unexpected, proving that love truly is timeless.